Hello, everyone. My name is Peter Cannon, and I'll be one of your program facilitators for the morning. The Story Strong program is designed to help empower families and individuals as they navigate the uncertainties presented by certain issues, such as grief and loss. Story Strong is part of the Libraries Build Communities initiative, a collaboration between the University of South Florida School of Information Responsive Librarianship Group and the Pasco County Public Library Cooperative. This project was funded under the provisions of the Library Services and Technology Act from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. Florida's LSTA program is administered by the Department of State's Division of Library and Information Services. As I mentioned before, this month's topic is grief and loss, and we have a special guest today. But first, I'm going to hand it over to Kiara, who's going to introduce our speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kiara, and I'm the social worker working with my team of wonderful librarians. I would like to introduce Lisa Tai. She's a case manager and clinical liaison working with the Pasco County Human Services with an LMSW. This morning, she will be delivering a presentation on grief and loss and strategies to cope with this. We would like to thank her for being here and providing these important skills and resources today. Everyone, please welcome Lisa Tai, and you may take it away, Ms. Tai.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning. I am honored to be here, and hopefully you'll get some good information today. I want to start off introducing the topic grief and loss, as Peter stated. Of all the experiences that we have in life, grief and loss are one of the most challenging. We all will come to a point in our life when we'll have to deal with loss, and possibly many times. And we'll feel great pain. This is a reality of our existence, and we hopefully will learn how to manage successfully and in a healthy way. Oops. Sorry. Okay, let's go back. Sorry about that. I want to go back to the definition of grief. Okay, and that is the natural response to loss. It's the emotional and physical suffering you feel when something or someone you love is taken away. Often the pain of loss can feel overwhelming, and you can experience all kinds of difficult and unexpected emotions, from shock and anger, disbelief, guilt, bitterness, anxiety, depression, and profound sadness. And along with the emotional response, the physical responses can be just as significant. And oftentimes I don't think people are really aware of how much your body takes a toll when you're dealing with loss. Some of those responses can be memory loss, poor concentration, and increased blood pressure, poor appetite, poor sleep, fatigue, shortness of breath, and even nausea, constipation, and diarrhea. Okay. And I think probably most of us have heard about the stages of grief, initially proposed by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. The 5 stages that she studied and saw in people when they were going through the process of grief was denial, where you wonder, how could this be happening to me? This can't be happening. And the second stage was anger. Why is this happening to me? The third stage, bargaining. Please make this not happen, and in return, I will. Which I think we've probably all said at one point or another. The fourth stage was depression, where you're just too sad to do anything, and acceptance, where you come to terms and find peace with what's happened. There were 2 other theories that say that we now maybe have 7 stages of grief and up to 9. And basically what that means is that you cycle through these stages. There's no right order. Everyone who grieves goes through all the stages, doesn't go through all the stages, and that's okay. And you don't have to go through each stage in order to heal. In fact, some people even resolve their grief without going through any of these stages. And if you do go through these stages of grief, you probably won't experience them in a neat sequential order. So don't worry about what you should be feeling or which stage you're supposed to be in. It's important to remember that everybody grieves very differently. There's no time frame. And some of the causes of grief can be the death of a loved one, divorce or relationship breakup, loss of health, losing a job, loss of financial stability, miscarriage, retirement, death of a pet, loss of a cherished dream, a loved one's serious illness, loss of friendship, loss of safety after a trauma, and selling your home. That can be very sad for people. Coping with the loss of someone or something you love is one of our biggest challenges, and we associate grieving with the death of a loved one only. But that is just one type of grief, and often the most intense. But even subtle losses in life can trigger a sense of grief. And you might grieve, like we said, after moving away from your home, graduating from college, changing jobs. And these feelings of loss and grief can be triggered by holidays, special occasions, anniversary dates, such as birthdays, death dates, or other days that are significant to the event you've experienced. And some of the ways that you can cope whatever your loss are very personal to each person. So don't feel ashamed about how you feel or believe, and that it's somehow appropriate to only grieve a certain way or with certain things. If the person, animal, relationship, or situation was significant to you, it's normal to grieve the loss that you're experiencing. Whatever the cause of your grief, though, there are healthy ways to cope with the pain, and in time, it can ease your sadness and help you come to terms with your loss, find new meaning, and eventually move on with your life. Some of the healthy ways that we can try to cope with grief are connecting with other people. Maybe invite people to call you, or conference calls like we're doing these days. Talk with family members and friends to stay connected, not to isolate. Maybe ask family and friends to share stories and pictures with you. You can do that via email, letters, phone, or video chat today. We have many, many ways we can share, or even do a group chat. You can coordinate a date and time for family and friends to honor you or your loved ones, your memories. Maybe recite a poem, do a spiritual reading or prayer in your home. And you can also create memories and rituals to commemorate the loss. You can develop a virtual memory book or a blog, or a web page to remember your loved one, and you can ask friends and family to contribute their memories and stories. Take part in an activity such as planting a tree or preparing a favorite meal that was significant to you and the loved one that's died. Exercise, excellent for any good health, but it was studied that even 10 to 15 minutes a day could have optimal effect and release pent-up feelings in your body. Also asking for help from others. Oftentimes when we're sad and grieving, we don't want to reach out, but it's really important that you seek out help if you're feeling like you're stuck. And you can do that through counseling, grief counseling, mental health services, support groups, or hotlines. And you can also seek out, based on your religious beliefs, spiritual counseling with faith-based organizations or your congregation. And then you can also talk to people in the community, people that you trust. You people that you admire. Grief and loss will affect all of us at some point, and probably at many points in our lives, and the way we handle these experiences is highly individual, and again, cannot be forced or hurried. As we move through the process, we can sometimes get caught up in the emotions that keep us stuck, and in those instances, we need to reach out for help and to provide self-care. There are many resources available to assist in seeking treatment, and on the next slide here are some, these are some hotlines that you can contact. Again, grief and loss come in many forms. So we have RAIN, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, National Domestic Violence Hotline, and NAMI Helpline. There are also some online on Facebook and Twitter. There's SAMHSA, Mental Health America, WebMD, National Institute of Mental Health, and the American Psychiatric Association. Hopefully, these resources will be helpful to you when you're dealing with grief and loss. And hopefully today we've provided some knowledge of the process, of how grief and loss work, how we move through that, and to know that you're not alone, and we're all dealing with this, and to reach out for help.
Again, we'd like to thank Lisa Tye, Pasco County Human Services, for speaking with us today. This has been a presentation of the Library Builds Communities Initiative, a collaborative effort between the University of South Florida's School of Information's Responsive Librarianship Lab and the Pasco County Library Cooperative. You can find more information at si.usf.edu, or you can email us at storystrong@usf.edu. Thank you.